Damos las historias más emocionantes.
Me encantan sus entrevistas, que sean periodistas de a de veras y no que pregunten mamarrachadas.
Esta mañana,
De lunes a viernes, en punto de las 9, por el Canal 8.
¡Qué bárbaro!
Soy Darío Celis y te espero de lunes a viernes a la 1 de la tarde en Tiempo de Negocios, en donde encontrarás la información más importante de negocios, economía y finanzas, aquí por Heraldo Televisión, en el canal 8 de Teleabierta.
Broadcasting live from Houston. From the space city to the world, you are watching Now Media Television.
Hey everyone, welcome to Real Estate Insights. We hope to be your go-to show for everything that you need to know about the ever-evolving world of real estate. I'm your host, Andrew Glisson. Today, we're embarking on a journey to unlock the secrets of the real estate market, demystify complex concepts, and introduce you to brilliant minds shaping the industry. Whether you're a homeowner, investor, or somebody just looking to make informed decisions, it's critical that you guys have an understanding of the market. That's exactly why Real Estate Insights is here. We hope to empower you with knowledge and connect you with experts who can guide you through the fast-paced world of real estate. Our mission is really clear. We're here to educate, inspire, and inform. And from residential real estate to the complexities of commercial ventures, we're going to cover every single bit of it. Whether you guys are buying, selling, or just curious about trends, we've got you covered. Real Estate Insights is not just a TV show. We're a platform for engagement. I want you to participate. Ask me questions. Give me feedback. Tell me what you want me to ask my guests on the show, and I'll do it. My email address is below. I want to hear from you. My team and I are here to be your trusted companion in your real estate journey, so you can reach out to us. When we come back from the break, I'm going to introduce you to someone who quit a high-paying corporate job and became a full-time real estate investor. Stay tuned. I'll see you in a minute.
Hey, Lily says AT&T is giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
All right, everybody, as promised, Scott Mackey, who's a full-time real estate syndicator. So he was a former bank loan officer, portfolio manager, underwriter, specializing in the oil and gas sector for 15 years, all in Houston, Texas the whole time. So he exited corporate life early 2020 to become a full-time multifamily syndicator. I was his friend and watched this whole process. Scott, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks, Andrew. Great to be with you.
Absolutely. So, Scott, walk us through that process. Kind of teed it up for you. How did you go from commercial lending to, real estate syndicator?
Well, so it all started really back in 2016, 17 timeframe when I was 15 years into my corporate banking career covering energy companies. For those of you who don't know, energy is a very cyclical business. I've ridden out 3 ups and down cycles through that time, and I went through a layoff. So in the time that I was out, looking for more work, it was about 6-7 months, and I realized I had to engineer some kind of plan B because I knew, corporate layoffs are just the fact of life. So I found real estate. I initially bought a fourplex back in early 2018. This is after I got another bank job in 2017, but I only intended to be at the next bank for a few years. So I got started with a fourplex, and I bought that all on my own, and I learned all my lessons, made a lot of mistakes on that little fourplex in 2018. But going through that process led me to this realization that, I could do this on a bigger scale. But one thing I needed was time. And so I basically just went from the fourplex and kept my last corporate job for another 2.5 years. And then in early 2020, realized, okay, now is the time. We didn't know COVID was going to be a thing then, but I punched out right before COVID hit. And then I picked up with a large mentorship group and went full-time syndicating in early 2020.
So Scott, how did you find, your first deal? I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do right now is to find a deal. It's super challenging, especially now in this market. But how did you find it back, when you bought not the fourplex, but the larger project?
Yeah. So the first true syndicated deal was the 32-unit property that I syndicated in late 2020. So, I think it takes a lot of persistence. You've got to underwrite a lot of properties. You've got to research and study submarkets to figure out, what you're looking for, where the demographic growth is, where the jobs are. That's, a good leading indicator of, demand for multifamily properties. So it took me, from when I started, on this full-time February of 2020, to when I got this, I looked at probably 40, 50 properties in 5-6 months. And then I got this one under contract in early September of that year. It came down to relationships. I went out to all the brokers, and as a first timer, you're really kind of building those relationships and proving to them that you're serious with this. You're not just, kind of playing at it. In my case, I was full time. So, I had 40, 50 hours a week to go have coffees, have lunches, talk to brokers, learn the markets. It's about relationships. It's who you know, and you got to build those, and it takes time to do that. You can't just do this from your couch. You actually you got to go drive. You got to go kick tires on properties. You got to go take tours.
So Scott, some of our studio audience or some of our audience out there don't really know what. There's two terms I want to expand on a little bit. Syndicating, what is that, and underwriting?
Sure. Yeah, so syndicating is when you are effectively managing money for other people. You are pulling in limited partners on a project to purchase a multifamily property, which is basically beyond your own wherewithal. So this 32-unit complex that I bought, I couldn't just buy that on my own. We bought it at like $1.2 million. I couldn't, buy that on my own. So I went out and I found 12 partners who entrusted me with their investment dollars, and we pooled our capital together to buy that property. Now, I was the general partner, so I was leading and managing the whole transaction, and they were, kind of like the silent partners, the limited partners we call them. So the syndicated deal is really when you're just bringing money in from other partners to scale your dollars to purchase a larger property.
And they're just trusting you.
And then your other question about the underwriting.
Yeah.
Underwriting a property is really just looking at the financials, looking at the rent rolls, and seeing, okay, is there value here that's being unrealized? Is the property performing to an optimal level? Now, going back to the 32 unit, when we took over, the net operating income was about $100,000. The property was underperforming. Rents were about 15 to 20% under market. There was a lot of deferred maintenance on the property, and the previous owner kept the rents low because he really wasn't maintaining or keeping the property up. So when we looked at it, our underwriting suggested that we could increase the value of the property by probably 40 to 50% just by fixing all the deferred maintenance, raising rents, raising the value.
Yep. So you put it through a financial calculator, and what came out was, we're going to make money on this, we're going to improve the value. And what happens next? Do you return that money once your plan is to sell it, and then you return money to your partners?
Yeah, so typically the plan, the basic kind of plain vanilla plan is you buy a property, and it depends on what condition it's in. If it's in really rough shape, we typically call those value add plays, where rents are very low. We go in there, we spend a lot of capital, we raise rents significantly. And on those deals, we typically try to either refinance the property after 3 years, and then we look for a sale in about year 5. On this property, it worked out that we hit our target numbers. We hit our target year 3 estimates by about 18 months in. And nice. The market was also very strong at the time. So we had a lot of unsolicited offers. So we actually ended up selling it in 18 months.
Well done. Everybody likes, Scott, a good,
thank you.
Everybody likes a good kind of renovation story, by the way. So this was like a value add play, which basically means you bought something that needed a lot of work, and you did a lot of work to get it to where you could sell it. So give us some of the, the big issues that you found along the way on that.
Yeah. So I think it's worth mentioning this property was located in a secondary market about an hour north of Houston. Typically multifamily properties closer into the city are, the competition for those assets is pretty fierce. So we saw value out into the secondary markets where there's less competition. There's a lot more mom and pop operators, and, rents don't really grow as fast. So we found this really nice little property up in a little town called Huntsville. There's a state college up there, and it had been owned for about 8 years by the same family. Again, mom and pop run. They kept rents very low for quite some time, and that's because there was just lots of deferred maintenance. The biggest thing we saw when we walked the property was there were balconies that were kind of tilting, and the support posts for these balconies weren't even touching a lot of the footers. So this was a life safety issue.
Wow.
So we did some more research on open records. We found that there were open permits with the city to remediate all this. And we in our feasibility period, we saw the plans that the owner had drawn up to get the job completed, and we realized, okay, well, they're over budgeting. So if we could save, 30% and, engineer it another way, that's going to go, basically we're going to be able to get this project done for a lot cheaper, and we can raise rent, cure the permits, life safety issues, and increase value right away. So we saw a lot of cost savings, not just on the CapEx budget side, but also on the operating expense side. There was just a lot of inefficiencies tied to older properties that we thought, okay, we could start going back in there and, billing residents back for utilities. The property was not being operated, efficiently. So we went in, we cut expenses, We renovated interior units, to a higher standard, raised rents on that, fixed the balconies, remodeled the pool, put in, nice fences, gates, remodeled the office, changed out the laundry room. I mean, this was just basic, quality of life touches around the property that made it a lot nicer, to a nicer community to live there. So, and we were able to raise rents on a lot of those cosmetic things.
I've got 60 seconds left, Scott. There's a lot of our audience that is watching the show, and they want to do what you've done. They're W-2. They want to jump into real estate. Give 60 seconds worth of advice to somebody that is on that path that you were back in 2020.
Yeah, talk to somebody who's done it before. When I first started this, I thought I could do all of this myself. And the more I realized, you could shortcut a lot of that knowledge by, finding mentors. And, there are many, many groups out there. I'm not in a position to recommend one over the other, but there's a lot of resources available, out there, above and beyond just what you read on the internet. There's tons of books. There's tons of seminars. There's a lot of meetups, real estate meetups and groups. Talk to people, go out, build relationships, and just get started. There's always a leap of faith that you have to take to do this. But you gotta set your intention and just get started, because time can help you or it can hurt you. So there's no better time than today.
Find a mentor, though, Scott. That's the main thing. Find a mentor. In the single-family world, I've got a couple hundred properties. I didn't find a mentor when I first started either. So now you and I are aligned in that, and I hope that our audience will take that to the bank. Scott, thanks for joining me on the show. We'll have you back. We're going to hop to a break, everybody. We'll see you in a bit.
Good deal. Thanks, Andrew. Take care.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching Now Media Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
I want to welcome Ann Tran into the studio here in Houston. Welcome to the show, Ann.
Thank you, Andrew, and congratulations on the show.
I appreciate that. Yeah, you've been a guest at Now Media before, but you haven't been on my show. This is only my third episode, so thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And Ann, you've got a unique perspective on real estate because you've had a real estate license for a long time, and you pivoted into mortgages. So tell us about that process, that transition, and the history behind that.
Today I'm a loan officer with Point Capital Services, and my real estate career started as a realtor 10 years ago with Keller Williams. And from there, learned a lot about the business, and then last year I decided to become a loan officer to help people get the funding to move into their homes. I know that's a big struggle, a big challenge is to get financing for your home and how to prepare. Yeah, especially now. And so I became a loan officer. And then I also used to volunteer and teach ESL to immigrant adults in Spring Branch for 6 years before COVID.
Cool.
And from that, I learned I really enjoy teaching. So now that I'm in loan, like mortgages and financing and housing, real estate, I can now teach people about the home buying process, which I really enjoy doing. So reach out if you have questions about the home buying process. If you're a first-time home buyer, renter, college student, high school student, let's get started. Figure out what you need to do with your credit score. What you need to, how much money you need to make. How to manage your finances. Let's plant that seed sooner.
How do you get opportunities to teach classes around town and be a speaker at places that?
I don't. I wish people would reach out to me more often for that. And I normally have to curate those myself. Yeah. And I use Eventbrite to host my to market my events every so often. So every so often I will do like a webinar, or I will team up with a realtor. And so every so often you'll see an ad from me if you're following me that I'm teaming up with a realtor. We can do like a meet and greet and have you answer all the questions you have about the home buying process.
So teach us about for a second, the different types of lenders that are out there. That's one of the things that there's mortgage brokers, there's loan originators, there's regional banks, global banks, local banks. How does somebody make sense of all that?
There's a lot, yeah. A lot of people think it's just one process, one person, and it's all done. And there's a lot more nuances, a lot more levels to it. First thing first is that the lender is the person who has the money. The lender is the one who's going to set the terms and the rate and the requirements that they want you to have in order to be approved. From there, we're going to have your retail lender, your broker, that's going to work with these lenders to get buyers and get them processed and give them the guidance they need in order to approve them for a loan. Now, a lender is basically anybody who has money, so a bank or a credit union, or anybody who's got a large sum of money in their savings. and willing to save it, or willing to loan it out. And then you have your retail lenders, and they will, and brokers, will normally work with multiple products out there. So we will work with Citibank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, even local lenders, credit unions sometimes too. So retail lenders as well as brokers, we have access to all these relationships if we establish them. The thing with retail lenders is that they have tools and guidance, a lot of resources to offer you to make everything in the process look pretty and smooth, right?
Yeah.
Whereas brokers have, they don't sometimes have those tools because they're trying to cut those costs to give you better fees, better rates, and basically, better service client.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned when we were talking in the studio a little bit earlier was that when you pivoted to the company that you're at now, you had a much broader range of appetite that you could lend to. So it's not just people buying homes, it's commercial loans, it's SBA loans.
Yeah, thank you for reminding me. So that's another thing. So, the retail lender I was at before was just residential mortgages, which is fine. If you're looking to buy a home and deal with anything real estate-wise, great. But if you were looking for commercial loans or like an SBA loan, then I wouldn't be able to help you at my previous location. So now with Point Capital Services, I can help you with not only residential loans, but commercial loans, so land loans, SBA loans, DSCR loans, foreign loans like ITN loans. So we have relations with everybody, not just residential mortgage companies now too.
What's an ITN loan?
Oh, foreigners, ITIN.
ITIN.
Yeah, so it's not. So foreigners don't have a social security number.
Right.
They have an ITIN number. Don't know what it stands for. I'm sure International Tax Identification Number.
Oh yeah.
Well.
There you go. Good job.
So ITN foreigners can also be approved for a loan. Right. And you just need to meet certain requirements, like prove that you're working here legally, that you've got residence or a work visa. Every lender is going to have their different terms and rates, though. So shop around.
Yeah.
Shop around.
Is the rate higher than a regular mortgage?
Not the rate. I should say like the requirements, like down payment. Your down payment is not going to normally be your 3.5. Well, most likely probably be a little bit more.
Yeah.
They probably want either like 10, 15, 20% sometimes.
So I'm asking people this question. There's a lot of, the interest rate's super high. It's more expensive from a monthly payment perspective to buy a home now. What is the mortgage industry doing to compensate for that? Are there any special products out there that people are coming up with to make it easier to buy a home right now?
I think the best thing you can do is find the right team to help you negotiate when the time comes to make sure it works within your budget. And in terms of like options to help you, massage the rate around and the fees around, you have options like a lender buy down where they may, buy down your interest rate for the first year. Mm-hmm. You may also have the option to a seller buy down rate. They say that right, temporary seller buy down rate. So they'll temporarily buy down your rate for 3 years, 2 years, or even 1 year, and that comes from the seller side. So if you've got a good realtor who knows how to negotiate, she can perhaps negotiate a seller concession or some kind of consideration towards buying down the rate for the buyer to make it work for the buyer so we can close that deal. So make sure you've got a good realtor there who's communicating with your lender. Your other option was, I keep forgetting what we talked about last time. We did this already. Your buy down, and then so your lender
discount points.
Discount points. Thank you. We did this. So yes, your other option is
we were talking about that earlier.
Buy it down yourself. So instead of having the lender buy it down or the seller buy it down, if you've got the funds, you can buy it down, and that can range from a couple thousand to a few thousands, right? Depending on how much you want to buy down your rate. And and there's that. And then we've talked about assumable mortgages, which I've recently learned
we talked about that earlier.
So if you've got an FHA loan or a USDA loan or a VA loan, there's an option to possibly have your loan be assumable, meaning like if you choose to sell your home, you can pass on the rate that you received to the buyer. But you've got to make sure you prove that with your lender to make sure it's assumable.
Yep.
And then the buyer has to meet certain specific requirements in order to be approved for that assumed loan rate. So
let's talk about we got 3 minutes left, but I want to cover this, and I want you to tell our audience. One of the things that I talk about a lot is, as a real estate investor, one of the best ways to add value to a home is to buy something that needs work, do that work, and you're creating equity because you're doing the work that a lot of people don't want to do, right? So are there mortgage products out there where you can buy a crappy house, renovate the crappy house, and then refinance your money out of it, even though it's your personal residence? some sort of construction loan for a home buyer?
There are, and I'll be honest, I'm not that familiar with construction loans, but there are tons of products out there for towards construction loans. There are caveats to it, specific caveats to it. There's timing to it, but yes, there are construction loans out there. Reach out to your loan officer broker and discuss with them and see what your options are.
Yeah.
There's definitely construction loans out there. I would take another class to talk about how that.
Yeah, it would. It would. So you guys aren't stuck. If you want to buy a home, you can find something that needs work, and you can do the work yourself. I think it's a great way to create some value.
Oh, I mean, I got into real estate because I really saw the value in real estate investing.
Yep.
Buying low, flipping it, and then selling it for market rate. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I applaud you guys for doing it.
So give me your prediction for the future then. Interest rates are insane right now. Do they get better? If so, when? What do we have to look forward to?
From what I understand, what I've been hearing on podcasts and the news is that they're expecting rates to go as high as 8% by the end of the year. So, and then they're thinking maybe 5% the end of next year. So the question lies, what side of the hill do you want to be on?
Right.
Do you want to be on the side right now, we've got the advantage, or you want to wait till everybody wants to jump in?
Yeah. So. What are you encouraging people to do?
Buy now if you can. Oh, definitely get pre-approval letter. First and foremost, go get a pre-approval letter, get the ball rolling, plant that seed now. And if you're not ready until next year, know what you need to know, because a lot of people don't know what they don't know, right? So.
And if you're a seller, get a pre-approval letter from somebody who's buying your house, right?
Well, if you're a seller, and you're not working with a realtor, well, hopefully get a realtor who knows how to know the difference between a pre-approval letter and pre-qual letter. Yep. And as an investor, I'll definitely know that yourself. But yes, make sure it's a pre-approval letter before you move forward with that.
We were talking earlier in the studio before we went live about how I had a friend of mine who accepted an offer on a house, and it was a pre-qualification letter, not a pre-approval letter. The deal fell through, and they wasted 30 days. The realtor didn't tell them. The selling realtor, their realtor.
Oh yeah, because they don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know a lot until I got into the lending world, and so now I love meeting other realtors to share with them what I know, what I didn't know when I was a realtor. Yep. But yeah, no, they should have gone through. They probably did that. They got an offer on the home, it was accepted, and then they went through the underwriting process, and then they found out, oh wait, you're not going to get approved for this. Yeah. So yeah, it's important to do that and before you accept that offer. Make sure they've gotten that and talk to the realtor. Ask them all the questions. Yeah. Don't be afraid of asking the realtor all those questions.
Ask tons of questions. Yeah. Well, Ann, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Look forward to having you again, and we'll be back, everybody. Thanks.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock-bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
The best bilingual news, business talk, and technology content 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You are watching Now Media Television, the first bilingual media network in the United States.
Todos quieren boletos de avión baratos, pero ¿dónde los encuentras? Llamando a Vuelos y Más. Sus precios vienen directamente de las aerolíneas y son tan bajos que no los vas a encontrar publicados en ningún otro sitio. Nos especializamos en garantizarles los boletos de avión más baratos, con descuentos en habitaciones de hotel, alquiler de carros y grandes ofertas en paquetes para cualquier lugar del mundo. No importa su destino, podemos ayudarle.
Gracias, Vuelos y Más.
¿Qué espera? ¡Llame ya!
Welcome back, everybody. I've got the privilege today of welcoming to the show a friend of mine, Santiago Mejia. Santiago works for Community Mortgage, and he is a lender. Santi, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Enjoying myself. Nice weather here, for sure.
Awesome, man. Look, I wanted to, before we kind of dig in, I want to ask you some pretty pointed questions about, the mortgage industry and interest rates, kind of where we're at. But I want you to share with, our audience. You've carved out a pretty powerful niche, in the lending community that keeps your phone ringing all day long. Tell our audience about that.
Yeah, sure. Before being a lender, I was an investor. So I found a way. I thought that if I learned the business about mortgaging, I was going to have more opportunities to invest in real estate. Well, when I got in the business, I realized that there was this niche or this opportunity or this need to work with Hispanics. Most of the banks don't have products or they don't understand the culture of our people. So I found a niche and I found a big need over there. So we had to create programs, we had to create systems and be able to work with this underserved market. And that's basically what I do. 90% of my business are Hispanics and the other 10% are probably investors, friends from years and years, or colleagues that we have been investing for years. But that's basically what I do. I was the first person to bring an ITIN loan in my city in 2018. And bringing constantly programs that can help our community to grow.
So, Santi, you called that an underserved community. Did you find as you were putting this program together that, just the regional banking system, they didn't understand the culture? What did you have to do a little bit differently when you were introducing this to the bank to create this program? For Hispanics in the lending process?
That's a really good question because every company or bank, they think that the problem is the language. And there is a study by NARA that says that from every 5 people, 3 speak English. So the language is not a problem. The issue is the culture. How do you tackle the culture? How do you work or you have systems that can help these people with this culture to buy a house? Here's an example. In our culture, we use a lot of cash. We like to have cash. We like to have the cash in the house. And there's a reason why. I didn't know the reason, but in the business, I realized that the reason is because sometimes people need to have the cash because they move fast or they need to go back or whatever. They need to have access to this money fast. So it's a cultural thing. And a lot of banks, the guidelines are not written in this way that help these people. That's an example. Another example might be that when we have people coming to talk about numbers with us, they bring all the family. They want to have granddad and uncles and everyone in the office talking about numbers because this is a generational decision. This is not only one person buying a house. This is like several families in the household contributing to buy the house. So back to your question, the issue that the banks had was like a little bit of not understanding the culture, why they do certain things or with the type of jobs or the type of taxes or things like that. And the other part was like also like there was a language barrier most of the times. and also like the type of programs. For example, a lot of our borrowers, they have a work permit or they have an asylum, a visa, an ITIN, a W-7. And most of the banks, they don't understand that there are these type of immigration. There are over 64 immigration categories in the United States. And most of the banks, they only work with 2 of them. They citizens and permanent residents.
So how many? So I mean, it sounds like there's just not much competition for you that's out there. I mean, have you guys pretty much cornered the market for this specific niche? I guess regionally, Community Bank is a regional bank, right?
There is a competition. I mean, believe it or not, every year we have new loan officers, we have new realtors, and a lot of people are seeing the need. Another thing that the problem is that the thing is, it takes a lot of work. I will tell you that. A lot of loan officers from other banks, competition, they send me their clients because they just don't want to deal with these people. Why? Because they take longer. For example, here's an example. When I ask you for a bank statement, you go to your cell phone, you download the bank statement, and in 3 to 5 minutes, I have the bank statement with me. With our people, it's a little bit different. I have to open the online banking for them. I have to reset the password. I have to print the documents. I have to bring them to the office. So the same thing that it was 3 minutes, 5 minutes with you, it was 45 minutes with my people. So a lot of people are not willing to spend the time. When you work 6 hours, 8 hours a day, we're working 12 hours, 4 people trying to do the same thing. So it's more intensive, the work. And that's why a lot of people who came to the market, they don't stay. And the second thing is having a bank that is willing to work with these people, right? Like to think outside of the box. You have no idea how many times we have sat with our underwriter trying to figure out how to make it work, because in reality, these loans are completely different. These people are completely different, and you have to think outside the box, and you have to have direct access to the people who make decisions, or it's not going to work. And that's the reason why a lot of people come to the business and they don't stay.
So when you were designing this program, is the underwriting different? I mean, I guess it has to be from somebody who, I have a social security number and that's what everything is based on, right? And so how is it different in some of your loans than just give me your social security number and let's move on?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it depends on the program. Okay, let's talk about ITIN or W-7. That is one of the biggest programs. What is an ITIN or W-7 is people that they don't have a legal status in the country, but they are filing taxes. The IRS, they don't care who you are as long as you file taxes. So for the longest time, most of the banks, they are not going to give a loan to these people, but there are huge investors in the United States that they will buy this loan. So guidelines are similar to conventional with some tweaks. Like, for example, they will accept cash gives. They will only ask for 1 year of taxes and not 3 years or 2 years. So underwriter is different depending on the program. So if we go DSCR for ITIN, it's going to be other place. If it's going to be a work permit, we're going to do it here. If it's going to be a work visa, we're going to do it here. So it depends on the program. Basically, what we do is we work with several investors, and we have to find the investor who is willing to work with this specific need. For example, when a lot of asylums start coming in 2020, 2021, we have to find an investor who was willing to buy these loans. So, for example, that's the reason why I work for a mortgage company and not a bank, because the bank usually don't have access to other banks.
That makes sense. What percentage of your clients would be, W-2 employees compared to business owners? Is that a fair question?
Yes, it's a really good question. I will tell you, W-2 employees are usually, they usually have more chances to buy a house because the system is created easier for them in the lending part. So the guidelines are more simple with them. But I have a lot of clients 1099. So what do we do is, and what we have been working on for many years is that we get with the CPAs and we explain them the importance of having good taxes, because everything is started over there. You have a smart CPA, someone that understands that putting some income in these clients are going to help them to buy a house, that's going to change the entire perspective. So that's what we do. 50, I would say that is 60-40 or 70-30. It's not much the difference. We work a lot with 1099 or self-employed people, but it's a longer process. It's definitely a longer process. It's a 1 year, 2 year process. Why? Because we have to bring these taxes out. We have to fix their bank accounts, or business account, tell them how to use the money, how to spend, how to pay their workers. All of that is a process. So it's a longer process than a W-2 that just come and can be approved immediately.
So I guess, that's an important point that you just made. I guess you work with a lot of people a couple of years in advance. It's like, look, we know you want to buy a house. This is where you want to be, but there's a few tweaks that you need to make. Here's how to start doing that. So in a couple of years, you can get to a point where you're buying a home. And a lot of that's, that kind of that personal financial, I guess, getting that in line so they can qualify at some point in the future. So you work with clients on that a pretty good bit.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of my philosophy. Most of the people that I'm closing today are people that came a year or 2 years ago. So it's a process. I always tell them this is a process. It takes time. From every 5 people that apply, only 1 is ready. And what happened with the other 4? We're going to do the process. Sometimes it's credit. Credit is one of the biggest kind of like roadblocks, and also taxes. We help them with their business, how to structure their business so they are bankable, everything, immigration. If they have immigration situations, we refer them to other people. And that's what I advise to everyone who is watching this is like, look for someone who is willing to help you. Most of the banks are going to say like yes or no. And my philosophy is yes, or you have to do this in order to approve. For example, I have a client, I remember, and I always talk about him. It took him 2 years to buy a house. But the thing is, it was not me. It was on him that he had the time and the hassle, and he really wanted this for his family. So it's more on the client that is on us, because a lot of people want our help, but a lot of people don't want to receive the help.
Yep, that makes sense. I need to make an important point here. I kept on saying community bank, but it's really community mortgage, and that's a really important distinction because you can provide options, right? And that's why a lot of people come to you as a mortgage, lender or mortgage broker. You've got multiple options that you can, help people with when they're looking for these loans. So I wanted to make that quick point. I've got 30 seconds left, Santi. Look, I want to tell you, I appreciate you coming on the show. We want you to be a regular contributor. Look forward to having you on the show, in the future and again next week. And so thanks again for joining me. And we are going to go to a break, everybody. We'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, Lily says AT&T's giving everyone their best deals.
Minus the air quotes.
Best deals.
No need to wink. Others say they give everyone a deal, but not everyone gets the best deal.
Told you, the best deals are for everyone here, with a choice of plans.
You were right.
Is she always right?
Always.
At AT&T, we give everyone our best deals on every smartphone.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure, and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock-bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
Hey, are you a small business owner that's struggling to double or triple your revenue and profits? My name is Michael Rager. I'm your business guide with Teach Your Business to Fish. Our success operating system will help you double or triple your profits every 2 to 3 years while actually maintaining some semblance of a home life. Call us at 713-201-5559 and we'll help you become a real success.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Courtney Hughes is back in the office. 360 Painting of West Houston, as a reminder. This is your third show with me, so welcome back to the show. Thanks for coming. This is my favorite topic. I renovate a lot of houses, and painting is one of the things that can either be one of the best things and experiences at a job or the worst. And before we get into some of the horror stories in painting, which always gets there with me, I want to talk about the quoting process a little bit, because you guys are elevated in terms of a painting experience than a lot of other companies. So talk to us about what the quoting process should look like and does look like with you
versus others?
Versus everybody else.
So I think that something that differentiates us from other competitors out there, especially local competitors in your marketplace, who we refer to as like checking the trucks. You're people that might not be insured or, are operating, on a day-to-day basis, is that we do a thorough quoting process from the beginning. So when we come to do a job, our estimate is going to include, hey, in this room specifically, we are tackling the walls, we are tackling the crown molding, the baseboards, anything and everything that you wanted and discussed with us up front is going to be line itemed on there, so that you can then understand, the amount of materials that you're seeing and the actual subtotal per room. I think that a big difference is, as a homeowner myself, one time we got an estimate from someone, and it was like, it'll be $3,500. Well, what does that include?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what type of paint are you using? How long is it going to take? Yeah. Like, what does the prep look like? Nothing other than here's the price for what you discussed.
Yep.
There's things that are lost in discussion, and sometimes in translation too. So I think it's really important to make sure that your estimates, like the 360 estimates that you'll receive, are line itemed by room, and that you understand exactly what is going to get done in each area of your home.
Are you charging by the linear foot, by the square foot? What does that look like?
So that's a good question. So one, I want to start with, all of our estimates are always free. So free 99.
There you go.
Yes, always call. And it is a good question to ask painters as they come out. What is the charge for this? Is there one at all? As far as the estimating process goes, I think everybody does it differently, but square footage is what you would do for like any walls or siding, like exterior siding that you have, where you kind of get into the linear feet or footage is when you're talking about like your molding within your home, or any of the trim work that you have. That would be done by a linear foot, so that you understand exactly how much material and how long it'll take your team.
Is there a difference between interior, exterior, price per square foot? Is there more prep work on the outside versus the inside? Cabinets?
Yeah, it can go both ways. So if you have walls that are, filled with craters, and I mean you have got some dry wall patches that need to be done. You've decided to hang every single piece of artwork on one, maybe it's a complete Art Decoed wall.
Yep.
If we have to come in and remud or patch things, it does add time to our team's job and the overall job. So we do account for those things. As far as interior versus exterior, your exterior, your paint is going to absorb a bit more than it like on a brick or a stucco than it would on a wall. So yeah, it slightly goes up a bit per for square footage, but I don't think it's drastic.
Yeah. So you mentioned what was it, chucking the truck? Is that what you called it?
Chucking a truck, yeah.
Chucking a truck. I mean, that should be a red flag right off the bat. Yeah. What are some other red flags to look like? I mean, people usually get a couple of quotes, for paint and stuff like that. What are red flags that people need to consider when they've got people looking at their project?
Yeah, I think that if there is no section that identifies prep, like how they're going to protect your home, or maybe even a contract agreement of, hey, this is how we are going to come in, and this is how we are, the expectations of what to expect as a homeowner when we enter. Those are red flags to me, at least. At least when we send through our estimate, it also has an agreement of, this is the standards that we hold ourselves to, and this is what the expectation is on your side and on ours. So for instance, if we're coming in and we are doing your dining room and you have some of the nicest artwork that you own on your dining room, the ask on our end is, hey, maybe you have that pulled down before our team gets there so that we don't run the risk or
100%.
have any liability on you know, for your artwork. It's just small things like that. If you do need help, that is also something that we ask up front so that we do know how much prep work needs to get done. Or if you don't want to move something or it's immovable, I've got a table at my house that is like not going to happen. It's a marble table. You're going to have to work around it. So I would factor that in. If someone is like, I can't paint your ceiling or it's going to be harder, I would get that. So I understand the additional prep
In the rental
work
property business, we call that the investor special, where we just like paint right over light switches, right over electrical outlets. But I don't think you're talking about that.
We're not going to do that. No,
Yeah.
That's not what we do.
So from a supplier standpoint, are there any paint suppliers that you recommend over any others? I mean, we use Sherwin-Williams a lot, but there's a bunch of other stuff out there. Behr. I mean, is one like more luxurious than the other? Or are they all the same?
So we typically find ourselves in a Sherwin-Williams, Benjamin Moore category. We have worked with Behr, we've worked with Glidden, we've worked with PPG, we've done Farrow and Ball. And if you don't know Farrow and Ball, and you are a woman out there watching this, they've got some of the best color selections out there. But it is a pricier paint.
Yeah.
So oftentimes we'll get that color samples from Farrow Ball, and then we'll try and color match them with a different paint. We do use Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore. It truly depends on what you are looking for, because within each of those products or suppliers, they do have various product lines that offer better amenities or properties depending on what you are actually looking to do.
Yep.
So it breaks down to like, do you have a humidity problem within your home? Do we need to find something that has mold and mildew resistant built into it? Do we need to add those additives to whichever line that you have a strong preference for? Paint it is not made all equal.
No.
I will say that. It is
Not at
not all equal. So my recommendation would be make sure that you're using a line that is backed by the manufacturer. So at Sherwin-Williams, fun fact, there's a contract grade paint and then there's a premium line paint.
Yeah.
And having that premium line paint means that Sherwin-Williams themselves will back it.
Nice.
So if you have a product fail, you give them a call and you work it out with them.
Comes back.
Yeah.
So I've had about 100 painters, literally wash their brushes out in my front yard. They have dinged up my sinks. I mean, I have had some of the worst experiences with painters coming and painting my investment properties. How do you guys clean, a good painter, a professional painter, how do you clean job sites? How do you clean brushes, things like that?
Yeah, I think it's important to, again, ask those questions up front.
Yep.
So if there is an inhabited home, you're not going to find a 360 painter that is like rinsing their brushes in someone's sink. It is not going to happen. Even if that paint does go down the drain and it doesn't stick, we understand. You don't want the mess. You also don't want paint mixing in the areas where you're cleaning your fruit. As far as the exteriors go, we do ask up front, hey, are we allowed to use this water spout? Where do you think that we can, potentially dump paint? Usually what we do, if there is a big issue in an area that really there's not a way to absorb, if you're a new home and it's mud, we might be able to like find a drain nearby and help with that. But truthfully, oftentimes we take those buckets with us and
wash them back at the shop.
Them. Yeah.
So I got two and a half minutes left. I want to, from the business side of the business, how do you train and retain good people? It seems like that's a hard thing to do.
So it can be. We always look for professionals. So the real question I feel like is, where do you find your teams? And where do you, there's so many different product lines out there and so many different tools to better yourself and the work itself. That one, we do trainings through like a Benjamin Moore or a Sherwin-Williams. They will offer different, anytime they have a new product rollout, they will want us to come and see it, test it, and then also offer some training. What's the best roller to use for it? What spray tip do you recommend for it? They will give you all of that information. But really, where do you find the actual guys that know what they're doing? It is a trial run. As a business owner, you know, if you come to me and say, I'm a professional, I've been in this business for 20 years, you better believe that I am going to want to see 20 years of experience.
Validate.
Yes. So I will often do a trial run of, okay, come, let's do a single room. And it always starts with just walls. I would never do a specialty anything with anyone until you've proven that you can at least paint a decent wall.
On the job training.
Yeah, on the job training.
Or proving that you can do it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, look, we're out of time. Thanks for coming.
Yes.
360 Painting of West Houston. We're going to head to a break. We'll see you guys in a minute.
Hi everyone, I'm Clara Capano and I am so excited to announce that my new TV show, Be Productive, is airing now on Now Media. You can catch it online as well as on several local stations in your immediate market. So go to nowmedia.com and catch all the strategies, all the tips you need from industry leaders on